Fear not, thrifty gamers, Henry and I have got another batch of amazing Xbox deals coming your way this week, starting out with one that's practically criminal. Henry, can you guess where this is going first?
No, why are you looking at me?
Alright Henry, it's okay, I'm not going to interrogate you. We're heading first to Santo Eliso for some Saints Row fun, to break the rules of law and physics. Here in Santo Eliso, there are just so many ways to get up to no good. You can play as a criminal mastermind, slowly building up your funds and expanding your territory. Or just go completely hog wild and see how much chaos you can cause with the game's vast array of weapons and vehicles. You can even double your trouble by tagging in a friend to join you via online co-op.
Bex, you almost forgot the best bit, because with the Platinum Edition, which is now 40% off, you'll also have access to the gorgeously remastered version of the third game, allowing Xbox Series X owners to relive one of the Saints' finest hours in glamorous 4K. But if you'd rather play as the cops than the robbers, LA Noire might be way more up your street. Or sidewalk, I guess? Don't let the 2017 version's pretty new visuals fool you. The world you'll be exploring here is a hotbed of crime, corruption, and violence. Playing as Detective Cole Phelps, you'll get to see humanity at its very worst as you work your way through one case after another, using all of your wits and occasionally your fists to try and put this rotten world to rights.
The whole thing might leave you sitting up at night wondering about the true nature of humanity. It certainly did for me, and I live nowhere near LA. But it is now 50% off, so at least your existential crisis won't have to cost you too much. As much fun as the Saints series and even Rockstar Games' wacky take on the world is, sometimes you're looking for something a bit more grounded. And that's where Insurgency Sandstorm has got you covered. This hyper-realistic FPS boasts an incredible level of attention to detail, ensuring that every moment of every match looks, sounds, and feels exceptionally immersive. You won't be able to rely on instant respawns, on-screen ammo counts, or minimaps here, so you'll have to fight as if your life really does depend on it.
You know what, Bex? I reckon you could definitely handle that level of intensity, which is good because the gold edition of Insurgency Sandstorm is just half price in this week's sale, while the base game is also available via Xbox Game Pass. In fact, there are so many amazing games on Game Pass at this point that it can be pretty hard keeping track of them all. So why not hit that subscribe button and let us do it for you. Now then, Temtem is a monster catching game which lets you try to prove yourself as the very best like no one ever was, by placing you in a dynamic online world where you can compete with thousands of other tamers. Travel this cheerful cartoon world in search of powerful Temtem, and then train them up to make them even tougher. Challenge the local dojo leaders to prove your mettle, and watch out for the meddlesome Clan Bel Sotto. Team up with another tamer to battle together, or just square off against your new rival to see who's stronger. I've actually played this one on stream and I absolutely loved it, Bex.
Well, there we go, gotta be Henry guarantee. What more recommendation do you need? Grab it for 25% off in this week's sale and let the battles begin. Depending on how you play it, The Outer Worlds is either the tale of one brave warrior rising up to free people across the galaxy from their brutal corporate oppressors, or a story about a space-age psychopath who went around blasting everyone with lasers. The beautiful thing is, it's all up to you. There is, of course, a sequel on the way too, although Obsidian are keeping pretty tight-lipped about their next great voyage.
I really can't wait to find out more about it. But for now, you can enjoy The Outer Worlds and both of its DLC expansions, Peril on Gorgon and Murder on Eridanos, for 20% off with the board-approved bundle, while the base game is available via Xbox and PC Game Pass. As much as we love the games that make us feel like a highly trained John Wick, there's a lot to be said for those that play to our true, clumsy selves, and no game embraces that quite like Human Fall Flat. As you try to make it through the game's floating worlds filled with whirring machinery and dangerous obstacles, you won't be pulling off neat somersaults or doing slick wall runs. In fact, if you can manage to stay on your feet at all and run in a straight line, you'll be doing better than most.
Human Fall Flat's gloopy physics ensure that every game produces moments of pure slapstick comedy, especially if you team up with a few poorly coordinated friends to play in local or online co-op. So reach out a big clumsy hand and grab it now for 70% off, or from the Xbox or PC Game Pass library. On a dark and stormy night in Vancouver, one intrepid raccoon is on a quest for truth. That's a pretty strange sentence, but then again, Backbone is a pretty strange game. It might be filled with furry forest creatures, but make no mistake, this narrative adventure is a hard-boiled detective story filled with deception, betrayal, and devastating revelations. The further you tumble down its rabbit hole, the darker things are going to get.
But you know what? Along the way, you will get to enjoy some incredibly rich writing, gorgeous pixel art visuals, and some gorgeous jazz tunes. So, it's not all bad. Plus, Backbone is 75% off in this week's sale. If you love first-person, story-driven adventures in tropical lands, Call of the Sea is the game for you. Let me take you back to before we had smartphones. If your husband was late coming home, you just couldn't send a text to someone to find out where they were. No, you had to get in a ship, sail off to the far reaches of the South Pacific, risk life and limb solving a series of devious puzzles while simultaneously embarking on an inner journey to discover your own authentic self. Really was the whole package.
Fortunately, Call of the Sea takes that whole situation and crams it with clever twists and shocking revelations. Plus, its lush world is a gorgeous place to explore, especially when you're chopping through it in 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X or S. So grab this 50% discount and go find your man. With its hazy, swampland setting, dreamlike tone, and increasingly bizarre story, Norco's Louisiana point-and-click world is another place that's well worth visiting. What starts out as a simple quest to find a missing sibling quickly devolves into a mystery involving bayou pirates, law-dodging androids, and one particularly important stuffed monkey. It's a tale about the past, the future, and the messy way they can collide, and it's sure to leave you with a lot to think about.
Norco is many things, but also indescribable, although Bex did a pretty good job of doing that. But take advantage of this week's half-price deal, or just grab it off of PC or Xbox Game Pass and take the plunge on this unique experience yourself. Meanwhile, with its sweeping desert world and stunning cel-shaded graphics, Sable is a really nice game just to wander around in. In fact, that's kind of the whole point. You play as a youngster who's been sent out into the desert to complete a rite of passage that each member of a clan goes through. It's a bit more intense than a part-time job at the supermarket, but you know what? It does give you the chance to take in the game's sumptuous scenery as you wander the desert solving puzzles, making friends, and ruminating on who you really are.
There's no combat and nothing to rush you, just a chilled out voyage through a gorgeous place with some beautiful music playing in the background. If those vibes sound like you, Sable is now 60% off. We'll finish off with another incredibly laid-back game, Townscaper. In real life, you maybe don't want your city planners and architects to be too chilled out about their work, but in Townscaper, taking it easy really is the aim of the game. More of an especially charming toy than a true town building game. It lets you build up quaint little cities by plonking down blocks, which will then automatically web themselves together and sprout other charming little features like spirals and archways based on where you've placed them.
This is great. No goals, no time limits, and nothing to do but sit back, relax, and watch your adorable little towns pop into life. It's the ideal game if you're in need of some stress relief, and it's 40% off in this week's sale, while you'll also find it on both Xbox and PC Game Pass. So hey, don't even need to stress about that either. That's a wrap on this week's deals, but we'll be back with more enticing offers next week, so don't forget to subscribe. Bye.
Bye.